Okay, then, this is my own story when I was young, and the differences that I'd learned in my life about, well, one is skin color and the other is identity, I guess. But when I was young, people really didn't talk about full bloods in percentages. We just saw people as sort of like Indians. My grandpa was Indian and his friends were Indians. We didn't ask how much blood you were. Somewhere along the line, though, the measurements started coming up into our discussions about who's an Indian, and that's a pretty rude approach. It's very academic, in my opinion. And some of the academics at that time, in the 1950s and 60s, some of the academics had been pretty lazy about their reporting on Native issues, especially at that time. And we were either considered, then we were considered interracial marriages we were considered, the offspring was a half-breed. We considered ourselves half-breeds. But then somebody started throwing the measurements in, and so then they dropped the half and they just called us breeds. And then it went into, some of us referred to each other as skins, but that had to deal with skin color or percentages of darkness. So then there was a measurement of urban Indians versus reservation Indians, and that started coming out in about the 80s and 90s, I suppose. But what I had to do in my life with all of this was going on in the Indian country, but mainly for me, what I was taught was to be invisible. It is sort of a tactic of being somewhere and not at the same time, but trying to save your culture or your family's history is real difficult in trying to be invisible at the same time. So at times in my life I tried to be part of the group, but I was never designed to be part of a group. I was always designed to go out in the hills. So the images that you see here is exactly my expression of how I existed. I existed in the non-Indian world, and in the Indian world I existed as invisible.